This is the origami exhibit at the Centerfold Origami Convention 2018. We have a really large exhibit this year, an amazing amount of work from both attendees at the convention and one gentleman, Sachin Shah, who's brought a very large private collection of origami for display. This video is going to be a little bit shaky because I'm doing this handheld since I have to walk around, but I'll do the best that I can. Many of these pieces are folded from a single sheet of paper. Then there's a lot of modular pieces. Ones like these are one piece, no cuts, just folded. Camera's going to have trouble deciding what it's supposed to focus on. Sorry about that. This is not the easiest thing in the world to videotape. Even these snakes are folded from a single piece of paper with no cuts. If you're wondering how that's possible, you can see on the ribs on this dinosaur skeleton model all the different layers of paper brought together to give that pointed rib that seems like you'd have to have a cut between them. These are a small part of pieces developed during what was referred to as the Bug Wars, still ongoing to an extent, where people went to more and more and more complicated models, even things like this dung beetle with the ball. That's a single piece of paper, one color on one side, the other color on the other side. So you're not only doing the shape, but you're controlling which side of the paper is showing. These American alligators are folded from a single piece of paper, 6 feet in diameter, 6 feet across, from a single square. Amazing to think that these very thin legs have no cuts to create them, just folded from very, very thin specialized paper. And yes, people do origami from dollar bills. Some are simple and used for tip folds. Some take way too long to fold to leave for a tip for anybody. The Centerfold Origami Convention is held every year in Columbus, Ohio. It's one of only a handful of annual origami conventions in North America, and people come from all over the world. Everyone is welcome at Centerfold, beginner to expert. We actually have beginner workshops meant for absolute novices. These pieces are modulars, so on these, of course, there are multiple units folded and then assembled together. Sorry about the reflections. It is not easy to video things at an angle in a room with fluorescent lights in it. Now these pieces are folded from ribbon. This is called Snapology. Originally developed by Heinz Strobel using ticker tape, and then tremendously enhanced by Faye Goldman using poly ribbon. She has a display on the other side of the room, we'll see in a minute. These pieces are what's known as tessellations. So here, focus. Here, you fold a grid, which you can see pretty well on this piece. You fold a grid on the paper, very, very precise angles, and then collapse pieces together, just popping up bits in between the creases you've made, popping up, popping them down to make these amazing patterns. These are also tessellations of a different kind. More modular pieces. These are pieces by one of our guest artists this year, Shuki Kato. I do apologize again for the shaky camera work. We'll try to stabilize this image afterwards. Another example of color change control. This paper was gray on one side, white on the other. Fold the entire model so only the gray side shows except for the tusks. Some more tessellations. And more Snapology. These are pieces by Fay Goldman. Absolutely beautiful. Each little triangular segment is several pieces of ribbon that go around the triangle twice. Not that they're all triangles, but the math involved in this kind of origami is quite precise, as you can imagine. Fay Goldman has a book on Snapology. It's out now. It's the only book you'll find on the subject. There are hundreds of pieces of ribbon in some of these pieces right here. People put a tremendous amount of time into preparing their paper for some pieces, starting with regular white paper and painting it, doing very, very beautiful designs on the paper before they fold it. Here are pieces by one of the other guest artists, Michael LaFosse, Richard Alexander. They make their own paper called Origamito, among the best wet folding origami paper available. See how incredibly lifelike some models are, where others are just representational. These pieces have been cast from actual origami pieces by Kevin Box. This is refusing to focus. These stars are by another guest of the convention, Maria Siniskaya, we brought in from South Africa. And here are pieces by one of our local group members, John Tucker. Pieces by John Montroll, author of many origami books, as is Michael LaFosse. And finally, pieces by Katerina Lukasheva, guest from 2 years ago, who's back this year just as an attendee. Beautiful pieces. She does curved origami. I don't know if she calls them tessellations or not, but they're absolutely gorgeous. She scores the paper and then does these amazing 3D pieces. Let me see if I can really show you. It's very hard to accurately get these on camera. These next ones are going to be tough because of reflections, because they're in boxes. I'll do my best. And I think that is it. Come to Centerfold. You can find out more information about us at www.ohiopaperfolders.com. We meet here in Columbus, Ohio every month, and we have an annual origami convention every August.